You are listening to Love, Sex, and the Hidden Agenda. This podcast is brought to you by Know the Self Mystery School, activating men and women to live with purpose. It was created with the sole intention to release toxic shame, illuminate our shadow nature, and expose the mysterious entities that feed off your most precious life force, your sexual energy. The mantras we sing in the beginning and end of each episode are ancient Sanskrit prayers to invoke the brightest light of truth and to liberate us from our fears. To learn more about our life-enhancing courses and transformational retreats, visit knowtheself.com. Let's dive in.
So, during the eclipse, this big one, some people have had some expression, some intense feelings.
Some people, we won't name names, but some people have had some big expressions.
Yes. And okay, but for real, okay, now we've been talking about this for like a full 24 hours, everyone. So, I mean, so the thing is, you know, women, there's so much to say about this, but okay, it has taken so long for women to have, or for people to be able to identify their feelings, stand in their truth, express themselves, be heard, be seen, you know, all of that. So that's really important. And in the, you know, spiritual community, this psychological community, in therapy, you know, that's what we are supposed to learn, right? But in relationships, I feel like between men and women, it just still goes back to this whole like Mars and Venus thing, which is like women want to just express our feelings. We just want to be understood. Men don't really need that. And then they just kind of, so they either just brush over our feelings, which makes us feel either dismissed or something, or they just tell us like, oh, just relax or just whatever, and which makes us feel ignored and dismissed. Right. So it's the age old, and then they want to go into a cave, and then, you know, and then we can't talk. And then, so that whole thing. So anyway,
it's the girl's like hanging on, and but one more thing, and you need to understand this,
right? But when we're taught, you know, to all of the self-help, all of the, you know, it's all about knowing your feelings and expressing yourself honestly and this kind of thing. And so when we do that, and then it's not maybe seen, or, you know, or there's then a lot of people will try harder, right? I mean, and that's what,
yeah, you know, like raise your voice. Oh, you don't hear me,
right? Or like,
so
okay,
talk louder now,
right? And then, you know, that sends let's say a man into a cave, or just wanting to, you know, not
to
talk,
retreat,
or wanting to, right? And so, and then, but you know, that can make somebody spin out. So, I mean, there are people whose entire careers are based off of just this alone. You know, the Mars and Venus guy, for one thing, John Gray, but also John Wineland, whose entire program, in case you guys don't know about it, is to help men actually receive a woman's feelings, and not, and have what he calls a masculine show of power. Like a very strong masculine will receive a woman's feelings. Now,
like her freak out and everything, or just like, oh, I feel like this.
Well, I think both to some degree, you know.
Interesting. Yeah, I would like to see that.
Oh my God, that's what his whole thing is. I mean, he does full trainings on, because this is a huge issue in relationships, huge. And then, you know, if a woman's not, if we feel dismissed or ignored, and then we feel like we have to keep keep going to get the person to hear us. And then it has the opposite effect that we're wanting.
Oh yeah, I've tried that. Like I try to say it in all these different ways. Like, let me come from this angle. Maybe you'll understand it.
Exactly. Let me explain it in every way. And then they're just like, like see nothing, hear nothing. What?
Like they're just thinking like, you're so jealous, or you're so this, or you're so that. Like they sum you up as one thing that is not at all what you're talking about.
Right. And then all their trauma issues.
And then you feel gaslit because it's like, wait a second, that's not even what we're talking about.
Right.
I hate that feeling.
Oh my gosh, that happens all the time.
All the time. And I'm like, are you gaslighting me? You're gaslighting me. You're trying to, and now it's all about you and your problems. And now you're angry because I'm angry. Wait, we forgot why I'm angry. Like, we need to talk about my anger. It's not time for you to be angry.
And this is no fault of any of ours, because we're all males and females. We're all just none of us were ever taught originally how to, we're raised in these like savage times where we were all like
savage.
We were all deprived of love growing up, and like, yes, whatever. Like,
we all come from some weird dysfunction.
But yeah, and like men, so they cannot handle at all a woman being anything but happy. Like if a woman feels any kind of anything, it having nothing to do with the man, even like, but you know, so you can't, if you express that you're upset about something, they immediately think, my woman is not happy. Like, I am man. If she is my woman, she must always be happy. Like, so if she is not, therefore I have done something, and I must, you know, somewhere in them, they think they're responsible, or they need to fix it, or
they feel so shamed. I think that you might feel anything but happy, that they're just gonna like self-abuse and like go into the cave like, man, I can't do anything right. Like, she's never happy, like no matter what I do. But they don't realize that maybe you're just having an expression and a feel like your mood isn't dependent on everything that they do. You might need a hug or something, but it's not like you're blaming. It's so complicated. Yeah. Sometimes it feels like men and women are like on two different reality tracks.
Then though, there's other times when there's, you know, especially if somebody has a lot of trauma, or, you know, but also not even that, even just if, you know, we've been so trained, we need to express ourselves, and that's the healthy, right, good thing to do. It's the honest, right, good thing to do. But then it can spiral, and it can spiral, especially if the masculine hasn't maybe been trained in a powerful show of masculinity, to be able to receive the woman in this way. Like then it's like it will spiral, and then her need for understanding and whatnot gets stronger and stronger and stronger. And we do need to address that, because it's too often that, you know, I mean, women are all going to therapy and, you know, taking classes and learning this and this and this, but for the most part, men are not really, you know, and I don't mean to be so general, but I can't help it. I'm being general right now, but like, so we have to know how to regulate ourselves in those moments. I'm not going to get.
Oh, and not go on like a self-righteous rant.
Exactly.
That's my favorite thing to do. I'm so good at it. I'm really good
Amelía,
at it.
No.
Oh my God. This is where like self-discipline is like, just sit down, take a few deep breaths, be patient. Like, you don't need to be the counselor. You don't need to coach them. Just let them have their process. It's hard. Yeah. For us women who like, it's natural, like to think about these things, to communicate fast, and especially around emotions. And for a lot of guys, it's hard for them to even say how they're actually feeling. Do you have a headache? No. Why are you holding your head like that? It's like,
were you just crying during that movie? No.
Yeah. Are you in pain right now? No. Are you afraid of that? I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid of that. It's like, no, it's not a big deal. Like, we all have headaches and pains and no. So ladies, like, we also I think that, you know, the whole women's movement was like finding our voice and like getting on our high horse. And it kind of went to this pendulum of an extreme. And I know I've done this, like just you get on a rampage when you finally get your voice and you're like, I will be heard. But then it's damaging.
It can be, yes.
It can be extremely damaging, which I'm also really good at. And I'm learning. I am learning, and I watch a lot of women do this too, where it's just we can crack the very fragile aspect of a man so easily if we're too harsh and we're too strong and we're too aggressive in our need to be heard, met, understood. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you know, it's funny to relate it to this. This is kind of out of left field, but think about the ultimate thing is that we want our needs met, and everyone wants their needs met, and we all want to get what we want, and so you even take, you know, sales, like you take what runs our world, you know, how is a good salesperson good? Well, you don't go after the person and force them to give you what you want, or you can't, you know, you have to at some point take a break, pull back, let the person come to you, or do things in a way that the person comes to you.
Magnetize.
Right.
Yeah, it's so tricky because this is where all the manipulative little games can, you know, one person's style of doing that could easily just shift into like a manipulative mind.
That's true. And that's what's made it scary and not okay.
Yeah.
Right. But then we realize too that the spinning out and demanding of the, like, when the person's not responding, you know, then there has to be, if maybe the higher, I'm just throwing this out there, but like maybe the higher vibe of that is to relax and magnetize. Because inside of that, if you're doing it with a good intention, there's trust. And that's the crux of everything. Mm-hmm. And that's why we all react the way we do in relationships, is it's just always a trust thing. Like, yeah, we're always trying to like am I safe? Am I safe in this? Like, how do I need to protect myself in this? You know, and
yeah, I think that's the key point to focus on, is like what fears are running you. And I know for the guys, they'll say, I'm not afraid of anything, right? But where is it that you get nervous and then you start reacting or making opinions or stereotyping that person, your partner, your lover, putting a label on them, like, oh, they're just like this, instead of really like listening and looking at, you know, what is actually being said. I think, you know, relationships are so not easy. We didn't all come with a handbook of like how to have a great relationship. And these are the stages of communication. And these are formulas and ways in which you can communicate where you're really going to be heard and understood and accepted and loved and cherished. And so I think all of us are kind of grasping for that, because especially now during this pandemic, like the fear is through the roof. And I feel that people's fears are creating their worst nightmare. There's almost like an instant manifestation. If you start thinking like something bad's going to happen, or this person is going to hurt you in some way, then it's almost like it instantly is manifesting. I think that right now we need a lot of self-discipline, and to just kind of keep the trust and the faith. And it starts with us, right? We can't put all of our power, all of our energy outside ourselves, because that's what throws us into these manic, uncontrollable feeling states. Like if we are expecting that, you know, love comes from the other person, or like, I'm not going to feel satisfied or full or complete unless this other person gives this to me, or I'm going to be lost and confused without this partner. I mean, sure, there's always, if your relationship is ending or something, there's always time we have to grieve and we have to restructure. But I think it's so imperative that each one of us really learns, like, what do I need right now? What do I have a solid structure? Do I have a solid foundation that, you know, if one part shakes, the whole thing isn't going to collapse into itself. I know that's been a big theme in my life, trying to, like, okay, make sure that all the structures are placed, so you're not only relying on your relationship to give you, you know, the strength and the foundation to succeed in life, or to, you know, be happy. And like, your joy isn't only coming from your relationships. Like, we have to cultivate all this inner foundational setting. So
Absolutely.
important.
Yeah, that is.
Choose to be happy.
Good stuff. Choose to be happy. That's what my shirt says. This is a quickie episode, but we're trying it out.
See you next time.
See you next time. Bye.
To learn about our life-enhancing courses and transformational retreats, you can find us on social media at Know the Self, or visit our website, knowtheself.com. See you next time. Thanks for hanging out with us. If you'd like to contact us and stay in touch with us, you can find us at lovesexagenda.com. That's lovesexagenda.com. You can also find us on Facebook and Instagram, Love, Sex, and the Hidden Agenda.